Melee DPS is, in my opinion, the worst role in Final Fantasy XIV. And I know that a lot of people are gonna disagree with me on that, which is totally fine. We are totally free to disagree. That's one of the really good things about community like this, is it's just like I do get other people bringing in different voices, and that's something that I will actually always genuinely appreciate, because I don't know everything. I really don't. I just have thoughts and then I put them online, and then sometimes I hear other things and it even changes my opinion a lot of the time. But my earnest, heartfelt feeling is that melee DPS is the worst role in the game. Why I say this is because I love Viper, and there have been copious videos saying how Viper has been destroyed, how it's just unplayable, it's just the worst DPS in the game and all these things. And that's not something that we can really unpack in this video. There's a lot of points that I do agree with that could be maybe improved on the Viper in the future. However, there's also a lot of points that I really disagree with, like rolling that debuff into the kit. Did it really change how we press buttons? I mean, you could argue maybe, but that I think would not be the biggest deal to me personally, as it still does feel relatively similar on that front. But in terms of the Viper, I am an old-time Summoner player, and without going into the details of it, Summoner was reworked, and I've really not had a DPS really click with me, and I think that that's really difficult to explain, because hey, you went from what easily had the most complicated rotation in the game, and now you're telling me that probably the DPS with the easiest rotation in the game is what clicked with you. I really don't know what to tell you, because I did play the Viper during the media tour, and I did not really, how to say it, saw the preview material, I did the media tour with it, and I can tell you it, how to say it as unoffensively as possible, it wasn't for me. I'll put it that way. Viper really, in my mind, wasn't for me. It was very interesting, it was cool because it was a new job. Well, it wasn't for me. But above beyond numbers, getting it into my hands on my own system, my own keybinds, my own setup, I really did fall in love with the Viper, and it is currently my #1 DPS. I actually really, I could see myself maining Viper right here, right now, and actually having a blast. If I was ever presented with an opportunity, which I will not be, let's be real, I won't be, to do the new ultimate on Viper, I'd probably take it in a static. I'd probably be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's put me on Viper and let me like go burr and see how that goes. But that just won't happen, so it's kind of senseless to talk about that. But to the cutting edge of why that's important to this discussion is, I guess if I'm honest, I didn't really care that much about melee DPS in the past. I've played them, I've played every job. There's proof on this channel that even last expansion I took every single job through P3 SES, that orange field of Nightmares Phoenix. I've played all of them, but there's a difference between playing and wanting very much to main something, and you probably don't see much Viper content on my channel, and that's not because I don't like it, it's not because I'm a hypocrite, it's not because I was trying to farm engagement because, oh my god, new job, how exciting, let's farm that, because heaven knows you wouldn't be playing Scholar much if you did that. Or why am I playing Astra right now? Astra's old news. Astra's really old news. Like, Heaven's Ward was how many years ago? God. Now I feel really old. But, yeah, I just can't find myself playing Viper right now. With that being said, how many times have people seen me, like, swap amongst, like, all the different healers? And mind you, that might be a trick question, because I know that I also don't showcase all the footage, but to those who've seen me in Party Finder, and I have gotten comments from a few of you, you've seen me go on literally every single bloody healer. or in other content, you've seen me go on every single bloody tank. Or if you look way back in history, you've seen me go on every bloody caster or ranged fizz. Melee DPS has each of their gear sets separated into basically 3 different roles. So what I mean by that is that in my brain, at least, and people are going to be like, okay, in your little like brain, and he's having a moment, but for real, like, I'd be interested to see how many people really disagree with me. But in melee DPS, we have 3 mini roles in there that share gear. Monk is going to share it with Samurai as the striking set. Dragoon is going to share it with Reaper as the it's not coming to my mind. And then you have Ninja alongside Viper sharing the scouting set. Maiming set was Reaper and Dragoon. Sorry, I'm really doing this off the cuff because yeah, we won't get into it. But based on that, it's very difficult for me to say if I pick up Viper, I'd be happy with it, because I know that I would get more comfortable with melee DPS, and then I'd be like, why don't I play Dragoon? Why don't I play something like Reaper? And that's where things actually do get kind of dicey from there. In fairness sake, I do want to say it is nice that the scouting sets, so Ninja and Viper, do share accessories with physical range DPS. I don't want to play physical range DPS. We will get into that in a different video. But the thing is, if I really had to choose even just 2 physical range, I mean melee, not range DPS, the 2 that I pick would have been Reaper and Viper, which don't share gear whatsoever at all. And that really absolutely sucks. Here, I'll make the joke about ring ding ding reality called, but reality is, especially if you're like me and you're doing things in Party Finder, is honestly, you need to bring a lot more DPS than if you were in a very ultra coordinated group. And that's one thing that I definitely disagree with many of what I basically view as my coworkers. For better or worse, that's what I do. That's also why I don't get into drama, but I do not believe that this raid tier is trivial in Party Finder outside of a coordinated static. I definitely have been bitten by it quite often. I have seen in Rage often, even on M3S this week, even on M2S this week, even on M1S we almost saw it, and M1S definitely is the easiest by far. But that being said, if you are going and doing something like a Party Finder or a less coordinated group, can you earnestly tell me that if you had the best in slot weapon for Viper, that you would ever really genuinely consider clearing that content on Reaper, where you don't have that weapon? You probably wouldn't if you were really going for the clear, because you'd know, hey, M4S has a little bit steeper of a DPS check, even though people do say that you can skip Sunrise or Disband, which I do believe is a meme that should catch on. I haven't seen it. I would like to start putting in my PF group skip Sunrise or Disband, not because the mechanic's hard to me, but because even being single now, having a cannon rammed up my ass is not the most fun experience. I do understand uptime, stand on the middle of the marker towards the tower. Or if you're doing quote-unquote normal, you basically stand on the needle and you aim it away from the towers. However, that seems to be incredibly difficult for some individuals, and so I would rather skip it. People are going to hate on me for that, but you know that's the truth. And for those who do PF it, you know what I'm talking about. I know you appreciate that. But there I was only talking about the weapon. But the reality is it's the entire gear set. It is the accessories, it's the armor, and it's the weapon. Going from a fully geared Viper into a Reaper that even with pentamelded crafted gear is such a staggering lowering of damage that it's not even realistic to be like, yeah, I'm gonna totally clear M4S on Reaper this week. Well, I mean, if you think that you're gonna, you could, because I mean, I did clear it week 1 on healer, and that was a test of patience, ability, everything. So I mean, objectively you could, but in reality, it'll be a lot harder, and that's where really push comes to shove. So let's say you're like me and that you have really bad RNG in general. Okay, well, you're probably going to be using books to get your weapons. Like, some people brought up my healer parses, and they've been like, oh, well, he clearly got the healer weapons. No, Suki, calm down. I have never gotten a healer weapon yet. I have gotten a warrior weapon. I have gotten a dark knight weapon. I have not gotten a healer weapon, which really sucks. I am going to be, and currently am looking at week 8, getting my first healer weapon. And I want all 4. That is going to suck. But even presuming that you did luck out and you did get good RNG with the raid drops, we realistically also have 450 cap tomestones a week, and that is going to be a major dampener on how quickly you could get everything. Because even if you did raid each week and did have good RNG, you could get raid pieces, which, yes, I do believe in 99.9% of cases, just from the main stat alone, is going to be significantly better than 710 crafted to get the 730 raid gear, even if the substats aren't optimal. But regardless, you really do want a mix of tomestone with raid, and that cap is going to absolutely dampen how quickly you could gear up something like Reaper after Viper. But with that said, I also don't want to miss the intense irony, though, that this entire time we have been talking about, respectively, 2 DPS within the same category, which is melee DPS, and that's why earlier I was saying melee DPS almost feels like it has 3 roles in it, whereas tanks share most of their gear minus weapon. I mean, yeah, you can argue, hey, skill speed differences. I get you, fam. I do. But you get what I'm saying, too, I'm sure. Healers share all their gear. Fizz range share all their gear. Magical range share all their gear. Melee DPS, well, which 2 do you like the most? Well, for me, Reaper Viper. Oh, no, you can't have that combo. Viper Samurai? No. Viper Dragoon? No. Viper Monk? No. So which one can I do? Well, no, specifically you need Viper Ninja. And that sucks. And that's a big reason why I don't want to do melee DPS at all, because, shit, I don't want to be stuck.